types of attributes, that is simple, composite, and multi-valued. So the simple means there is no again further division. It is only simple, something like a male or female, your USN number. In USN number, there is no further division. So such type of attributes are called as a simple. Then composite are one which you can further have a division. Composite something like your name. So in your name, you may have first name, middle name, last name. So that's the reason in just if I say name, there are three again subdivisions. Then we call it as a composite. Because using all these first name, last name, and middle name, combining all these will form one your name. That's the reason it is called as a composite. In the same way, take one more example, date. So in the date also, what do we have? Day, month, and year. So these are the three things. So what do we do? Day, month, and year. What combining these, we'll get a today's date. So today's date, again in further you can go, what is the time? You can go again, time means again hours, minutes, seconds, like this it keeps going. Such type of data attributes are called as a composite attributes. Next we have something called as a multi-valued. Multi means there will be many. Suppose if we take car, so car colors may be huge, there may be different colors. So this is example of multi-valued. So then we move on to a entity type and key attributes. So what is an entity type? What are the types of entities we have? Entities with the same basic attributes are grouped or typed into a single entity. Suppose if I say name, so all names I am grouping it into one thing. That is what I am calling it as an entity type. And what type? It is a varchar. The same way if I say date or USN, all your USN will be having only one type. So what type? Again varchar, because here it is a mixed. The same way I can give serial number, your phone numbers. So then I'll give a number. So that's how we call it as an entity type. So next is just taking an example here. In this case, you can see car. Car will be is a entity, and you may have a set of entities like that. So there may be huge number of cars, different models, varieties of industry in a manufacturing company. So like this, we have so many entity sets corresponding to a car. So entity type is a car, and what are the different sets we have? The common thing, registration number, state, vehicle ID, making, which year they manufactured, what is a model, what is a year, what is a color. So these are all, this is one entity. Again, in that there are different attributes. And even we have seen about this ER diagram. So in this ER diagram, the same way what I told even in the last class, if you have a flow algorithm, then even we are using a flow chart. Why do we use a flow chart? Because human being understands better or more easily if you represent the same thing in the pictorial form rather than text. That's the reason we are using a ER diagram. So for ER diagram, what we do, we use some notations for to represent a ER diagrams. So suppose if I say entity, how should be the representation? So if you say entity, then it should be a rectangular form. If it is a weak entity, then two rectangular. Then relationship, a rhombus symbol. Identifying a relationship type. So what is a type of relationship? Then to identify that, then we are using the double rhombus. Attribute. Now if I say entity, employee is an entity. Again in that employee name, employee social security number, employee age. So like this we give. So such type of thing we represent in the form of oval. That is what is called as an attribute. And key attribute. What is a key attribute? Now with your USN numbers only, I'll be able to represent you. So then that USN uniquely identify each student. Then we call that as a key attribute. So key attribute can be anything. Like yes.
Ma'am, screen share ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
Screen share ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. You have to inform me when it is not done. So what about others? What you people are doing? Okay. So now in this case, entity type, weak entity, relationship, we represent like this: attribute, key attribute, multi-valued attribute. Then composite. Multi means what? Many. So cars can be having a different colors. Then composite, your name. Your name will be having a first name, middle name, and the last name. Derived attribute, dotted line. So from one already there is a base. From there you're deriving the attribute, then we call it as a derived attribute. Then total participation. Then uh, how do we represent? We use a double lines to represent that total participation of E2 in the relationship R, double line, or else we use a single line. If you want to say that totally this entity E2 is completely or totally participated with the relationship R, then we use a double line. So then if you want to represent a cardinality ratio, so what is this cardinality ratio is? Now I am taking only one. So one to many. How many people you are? You are 53. So I am single. One teacher is taking a class, DBMS class, for how many? 53 people. Then what type of relationship I can say? One to many. So in the same way, how many third semester students? 53 students. How many staff are taking? There are taking 5 people. Each one are taking 5. Then how should I represent that type of relationship? 53 with 5. So many to many. So like this, we can represent a relationship types. And we name them, whether 1 to n, many to many, 1 to 1 relationship. So now you have one friend and you. So then what we say? That is 1 to 1 relationship. So in the same way, structural or constraints, whether it is minimum, it is completely participated or what. So in this diagram, you can see ER diagram, entity, type, employee, department, project, and dependents. So this is a company database. So in this, how many entities we have? We have employee is one entity, department is another entity, project is another entity, dependent is another entity. So in the employee, so what are the attributes we have? We have a SSN, social security number, a birth date, we have a name. Again, because we are saying name, so name is a composite attribute. What do we mean by composite attribute? In name, we have a first name, middle name, and a last name. That's the reason name is a composite attribute. In the same way, if I say SSN number, social security number for each employee will be only one. So in the same way, birth date, you cannot have many. So then that is what a single attribute. So in the same way, male or female or address. Address again, you may have a composite because street, place, all those there will be there. Then you can say address is a composite attribute. Then salary. So this is how we represent. Then what is a supervision in a company? Suppose if we consider BMSIT college. So in BMSIT college, how many employees are there? There are 200 employees. Out of 200 employees, we have only one person who is named as a principal. Then what is that? He is supervising the BMSIT college, all 200 people. Okay, if we come to the MCA department, so how many are there? We are around 14 people. 14 employees are working for MCA department. So 14 people to monitor all these works in the department, we have one person. Who is that? HOD. That is what is called as a supervision. So how it is? 1 to n. So one HOD for 14 people. One principal for how many? 200 employees in the BMSIT college. That's the reason you have a self loop. So then department. So in the department, what we have? So how many departments we have in the college? We have so many departments. We have MCA, IS, CS, EC, so many. So department name, number, location. So name, primary key. So because I should know which department it is, whether it is a MCA department, whether it is a CS department, whether IS, EC, whatever department. So then I will say that is a unique. So then when I say unique, I say it is a primary key. Then number, what is the number I am giving for that? What is the location? Now, if I ask you where is MCA department in BMSIT college, MCA department is in second floor. In which block? In BSN block. What is it says? Location. So location is a multi-val. There are so many. I should come to college. First, I should say BMSIT college. Then where it is. So you should find out Doddaballapur, Main Road, Avalalli, all these you have to find out to reach BMSIT. After reaching BMSIT, there are so many blocks. in which block, which floor you have MCA department. That's the reason it is a location is a multi-valued. Okay, so then number of employees. How many number of employees are there in this college? So we have how many number of employees are there? Number of employees. So we have 200. So in the MCA department there are 40. So like this we give a department. Then employee works for department. So how many employees are there in BMSIT college? 200 employees. And totally participated? Yes, they are totally participated for the departments. For which department? MCA. Out of 200 people, 14 people are working for MCA department. Works for which department? One department, MCA. That's the reason it is called as a total participation. Okay, then one HOD department, one HOD manages the 14 employees. One principal manages the BMSIT college of all the departments. Then we say manages 1-to-1. Total participation? Yes. Which date it started? So for that we say start date. Okay. Then department project. How many projects we are doing? We have third semester some projects. We have fifth semester some project. First semester some project. So in MCA department, one department. How many projects? N projects. There are so many students are there. Third sem 53, fifth sem 50 plus, first sem 60. So then how many we say? So like this we say N number of projects. What is the project name? Which semester? What project name? So that is unique key. Number, what is, we give the numbers. How many numbers we have in third semester? 53 number. Location, MCA department. Then that employee who is doing project, though we say students, one staff will be appointed to monitor that project. One employee works for project. How many hours he works for the project? How many hours is being dedicated for third semester? So many. So that's what is called as an employee works on project. Then dependents. So dependent, name, date of birth date, relationship, and the male or female. Dependent, how many? Employee, I am employee in BMSIT college. How many are dependent on me? How many children? How many? All those things. What is a relationship? First child, second child, spouse. So what is a name? Whether male, female. What is a birthday? So like this we give. This is what one ER diagram for a company database. Okay, so how do we represent the relationship? The relationship and relationship type. A relationship relates two or more distinct entities with a specific meaning. For example, employee John Smith works for the product X project, or employee Franklin Wong manages the research department. So like this we can say what is the relationship between an employee and the project. So in the same way, here research department, what is a relationship between employee and the department? Now relationship of the same type are grouped or typed into relationship type. For example, works on. So employee works on for which project? So then we say this is a relationship type, works on, for which department he is working for. This is called as a works on. The degree of relationship type is the number of participating entity type, both manages and works on, or binary relationship. Binary means what? Either 0 or 1. So in the same way you can take here employee works for department. E1, how many employees we have? We have 7 employees here. And how many departments we have? We have D1, D2 and D3. So how many employees we have? E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7, class 6 and 7. So these are all called as employees. Then what is a relationship? How many relationships we have? We have 1, 2 relationship. And how many departments? D1, D2 and D3. So these are the departments. So what is the relationship between employee and the department? So E1, that is employee E1 is working for the department D1. In the same way, how many people are working for the D1? Employee E1, employee E3, employee E6 are working for the department. So in the same way, D2, employee E1, employee E4 are working for D2. The same way, how many people are working for D3? Employee E5 is working for D3. Employee E7 is working for D3. So this is how we say what are the D1, D2 and D3. How is the relationship and how do we say works for? So in the same way, how do I represent the projects? So last we have seen about departments. Now with respect to project, this is employee and these are the projects. And now how many relationships I have? I have relationship from 1 to 9. So what is the for employee E1 is working for how many projects? Is working for only one project? Yes. Is there any employee who is working for two projects? E7 is working for P1. E7 is also working for P3. So now E7 is working for two projects. So like this, we represent all these, each employees, and this is a relationship. This is called as a relationship diagram or instance of the relationship between employee and project. And what is a relationship? Here R represents a relationship, P represents a project, E represents the employee. Relationship and relationship type. More than one relationship type can exist with the same participating entity type. For example, managers and works for are distinct relationship between employee and department, but with different meanings and different relationship instance. So this is what is a relationship and a relationship type. So in this diagram, you can see what is this ER diagram represents. In this ER diagram, employee is a one entity, department is another entity, project is another entity, dependent is another entity, end employee, employee is an entity, and these are all the attributes. So this is what the relationship type says to us. So in the same way here for BMSIT college, we have one principal. So we have a supervision. So how we do? This is a self loop. So then in employee, how many attributes we have? We have a birth date, social security number, name, whether male or female, address and salary. Again in name, so a name we are calling it as a composite attribute. In name composite attribute is what? First name, last name, middle name. So that's the reason name is a composite attribute. Then works for dependent, controls, relationship, whether one to one, one to many, all these we represent in this relationship type. So then what is weak entity? A entity type where you don't have a key attribute. So such type of entity type is called as a weak entity. Weak entity. So in this case, can we say where there is a weak entity, where we don't have a unique primary key, then we call it as a weak entity. An entity that does not have any key attribute, that is what is called as a weak entity type. A weak entity must participate in an identifying relationship type with an owner or identifying entity type. Entities are identified by the combination of partial keys of the weak entity type. The particular entity they are related in the identifying entity type. For example, suppose in this you can see dependent. Suppose that dependent entity is identified by a dependent's first name and birth date and the specific employee that the dependent is related to. Dependent is a weak entity with employee, and as it's a entity type via the identity relationship. So in this diagram, you can see dependent, until unless there is an employee, you have a dependent entity. If there is no employee, then you don't have a dependent entity, because dependent entity is not having a relationship. If there will be no relationship in this diagram until unless there is some employee who is working for a particular company. So that in such type of entity is called as a weak entity. So then constraints, even in the constraints, how many constraints on the relationship? Just now I told it may be one to one, one to many, many to one. Constraints on the relationship type, also known as a ratio constraints. So sometimes they say ratio. So now you can see what is how many students we can take for one particular class. It is limited by AICTE saying that there should be only 60 students for MCA for one section. If you say one section, there should be 60. You can double that. That's what is called as a ratio constraint. The same way, there will be some fixation, fixed number of people who can do. So that is what is called as a maximum cardinality. So what is this one-to-one? So one BMSIT college will be having only one principal. Then this is what is called as a one-to-one relationship. So in the same way, in one BMSIT college, there are huge number of students. One BMSIT college, many students. Then we say one to many. Or I can make it in a reverse. Around more than 1,000, 2,000 students are studying in one BMSIT college. That's what is called many to one. And what is this many to many? So there are in Bangalore, how many engineering colleges are there? There are huge number of engineering colleges. How many students are there? There are huge number of students. In Bangalore, in many engineering college, many students are studying. That's what this relationship says to me, many to many. So then minimum cardinality ratio, also called participation constraints or existence dependency constraints. That is 0, optimal participation, or not existence dependency. 1 or more, that is mandatory, or existence dependency. This is what is called as a constraints on relationship. The same thing you can see here, many to one. So many departments. How many departments we have? We have 3 departments. In 3 departments, what is the relationships we have? How many relationships we have? We have 7 relationships. Then how many employees are there? There are 7 employees. So if we say here, there are 3 departments, many relationships. How many employees? This you can see. Employees are how many? 7. What is the works for? E1 works for D1. E2 works for D2. E3 works for department D1. E4 works for D2. So like this we say this relationship, 3 departments, there are so many employees. Then we call it as a many to one relationship. So for department D1, for department MCA, how many people are working? So if we consider this relationship, you can see E1 is working for department D1, E3 is working for department E3, and E6 is representing for department D1. So in the same way, many to many relationship, many projects, many employees working for completion of the projects. So many to many. This type of relationship is called many. So E2 is working for project P2. E2 is also working for P3. So then you can see here the lines, whatever is there, this represents many to many relationship. So relationship and relationship type. We can have a recursive relationship type. What do we mean by recursive relationship type? We know the recursion in our programming language. What is recursion? Calling the function itself. Same way here also. First I say employee. In BMSIT college, there is one employee who is a principal. Then what it is? This is a recursive relationship type. Both participations are same entity type in different roles. Now, if I say principal is an employee is one relationship. Principal is in BMS IT college, principal is an employee, one relationship. Principal is another relationship. Like this, both the participation are same entity type in that, but in a different roles. Now, so we have HOD. HOD is an employee of BMS IT college, but it is been given a different role. Then it is called as a participation. For example, supervision, relationship between employee and other employees is a supervision. Employee in one role of supervision or a boss, and another employee in a role of subordinate or a worker. So this is how is called as a supervision. But there are employees one relationship, but again you differentiate that. So that is what is called as a relationship type. In the diagram, first role participation labeled with 1 and second role participated labeled with 2. So the ER diagram need to display role names to distinguish participation. So you can see here what is 1 says to us. So the first role participation labeled with 1. The second role participated with 2. So what is this 1 and 2 says to us? 1 and 2 says to us that employee E1 is a worker. Employee E1 is a manager, is a HOD. So like this we represent this. So this is what is called as a recursive relationship. So employee is self. He is an employee who is a supervisor or who is a principal, who is a HOD. So that's how we call it as a recursive relation supervision. So in this also you can see supervision. So this supervision, in this case we say participation role names as shown. So supervision. How many HODs are there? How many HODs in the BMS IT college? There are huge. How many departments we have? Suppose if we have 10 departments, so then 10 supervisors are required. So for each department, how many? 1. So how many employees? We have huge number of employees. So this is what is a recursive relationship. Recursive means employee itself is acting in a different role. He is an employee, he is a HOD, he is a principal, then we call it as a supervision or having a different roles. Then attributes of relationship. So how do we have attributes? So the relationship type can have attributes. For example, hours per week. How many hours I have to work in the BMS IT college? 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. How many hours I have to work? Works on. Its value for each relationship instance describes the number of hours per week that an employee works for the project. Suppose, let us assume that you're working for some industry and you have been assigned with the project and they say that you have to work on this project for how many hours per week? Maybe 40 hours. So that's what is a relationship type, number of hours working for particular project. So then that is what is called as a relationship type. So that's what here works for. So works on number of hours. So even this attribute. So works on is also one attribute. For this again we have a how many hours he has worked. So that's what attribute of a relationship type, where it says the hours he has worked for the one employee works on particular project for how many hours. So this is a attribute relationship. Then just now we have discussed constraints. One way to express semantic or a relationship. So what is the constraints for our mobile numbers? How many digits we should have? Can we have 10 digits or 11 digits? It is fixed. So in the same way, even here also, how many HODs you may have for one college, for one particular department, 1. How many principals you may have? Based on, there will be only 1. Like that, this constraints with the relationship. So that is what is called as a cardinality ratio of a binary relationship, that is 1 to 1, 1 to n to 1, or m to n. So this is what is called as a cardinality ratio, shown by placing appropriate number of link. So how many? That's what I told. For BMSIT college, there is one principal. For MCA department, one HOD. How many employees? 14 employees. How many students? 2000 students are studying in one college, BMSIT college. So like this we give. So this is what is called as a cardinality ratio. Then participation constraint. On each participation entity, you say whether totally participated or partially participated. Whether you are a full-time employee or a part-time employee, then we call it as a total or partial. So shown by a double link, that link. So if you have, in that case, if you want to say total, then we use a double line. So that's what here. The specified on each participation on the entity type E in the relationship R specifies that each entity E in the participation in at least minimum and at most maximum relationship instance in R. So number of constraint minimum, you may have 0, maximum we may have n. Default constraints will be like this. We may set anything from minimum to maximum and derived from the knowledge of minimum world constraints. Example, a department has exactly one manager and an employee can manage at most one department. So that's what I told. How many HODs are there? HODs are how many? One HOD. That's what specifies 0 and 1 for participation of employees in managers. Then 1 to 1 for participation of department in managers. So that's what here, this is what is called as a, now I am employee, I am not a HOD, then I can say 0. But if I am a HOD, then I can say 1. So then, but I am an employee, for this college. That's what here it says, whether you have a relationship exactly one manager or you may have more, or I'm just an employee. That's what here it specifies the constraints for the relationship. Same way here we have represented minimum maximum notation relationship. How many HODs or how many principals you may have? We may have at least one. So then how many departments? There are 200 employees. How many departments we have? We have 10 departments. Then how many are managing? At least one employee is managing one department. Then how many are working for? How many people are working? This represents minimum and this represents a maximum. So how many are working? There may be n people working for n number of departments. That's what is called as an employee works for particular department. This is what is called as a relationship constraints, minimum to maximum notation. This company schema diagram, you can see minimum and maximum. Here represents the minimum and maximum notation. So here, how many managers are there in the department? There is only one. How many? 1 to 1. So how many people are working? There are 4 people working for one particular department. Like this, how many departments we have? We have so many departments. That's what n departments. Then how many how many employees are there in the college? There are n number of employees. But out of n, how many can be super principal? There will be only one principal. So then how many dependents? I may have 1 to 1 dependents. How many I may have? I may have employee, but in some situations, I may not have any dependents. So this is how the relationship and the constraint schema says to me 1 to 1, what is the cardinality ratio. So relationship of higher degree. Relationship type of degree 2 are called binary. Means how do we have a degrees? Either 0 or 1. So if you have 3, suppose if I have a degree greater than 2, then we call it as a higher degree. Less than that, we call it as a binary. If it is 3, then we call it as a ternary. Relationship type of degree 3 are called ternary. So then, and a degree of n are called n-ary. In general, and any relationship is not equivalent to a n-binary relationship. That's what is a relationship of higher degree. Data modeling tools, a number of popular tools that cover conceptual modeling and mapping into the relational schema design. Example, ER diagrams. How do we represent? So we have so many tools available to draw to write this. So if I have drawn this diagram, but how to draw this? So to draw this, we have a different tools available. So that is called as a ER diagram win, S designer, ER studio. Like this, we have so many. So then positives serves as a documentation of application requirement, easy user interface, mostly graphics editor support. Problems with current modeling tools. So diagrams, how do we represent a diagram? Poor conceptual, meaningful notation. To avoid problem of layout algorithms and aesthetic of a diagram, they prefer a boxes and lines and do nothing more than the representative. That's what, whether it is a primary key, whether it is a foreign key, what is the relationship between those two tables, how to represent, that's what we are doing. Methodology, lack of inbuilt methodology support, poor trade-off analysis or user-driven design preferences, poor design verification and suggestions for improvement. So some of the currently available automated database designing tools, suppose this is what the company, these are the tools available. For what reason I have to use this tool? So suppose if you say ER Studio, why should I use? So for data modeling in ER diagram, you can use a ER Studio. The same way DB Aristia. Why do we use? For administration, space and security management, then you can use this. But which company has developed? This is what the company it is developed. The same way Oracle is developed, Oracle has a developer 2000 and designer 2000. Why should I use these two tools? To database design modeling as well as application development, you can use a Oracle tool. In the same way, Popkin software system architecture, it was developed in 2001. What is the data? Why should I use this? What is the functionality of this tool? Data modeling I can use object modeling, I can use process modeling as well as structure analysis. Then Platinum technology is this one. And what is a data process business component model? Then persistence, that's how we are doing mapping from O to O relationship model. Then rational rows, modeling in UML and application generation in C++ and Java. Then RW Metro, mapping from object to object relationship. Then resolution, S-case, conceptual model, Sybase, Cisco, so Vision, all these are the company names. These are all the tools available. Why, in which situation I should use, what is the functionality of these tools, I can use this. These are the current available tools, automated tools to design the database. So here diagram for a banking database. I have a bank. What type of bank? Now I will Allahabad Bank. What is a code? There will be a code for each bank. What is the name? Allahabad. What is the address? There is this bank. Avalalli is the bank. What is the branches? Bank branches. That's what a bank branch. Then branch number, loan, whether this bank has given a loan. Why this double line? This is a weak entity. Accounts, how many accounts are there? Accounts, how many accounts in this branch do we have? How many customers have the account? How many loans, how many customers have taken a loan? So what is this customer? Customer has a social security number, customer has a phone number, customer has a name, customer has an address. How many accounts he has? There will be huge number of customers will be having accounts in a different bank branches. That's the reason it is called as a end-to-end relationship. account number, balance, and type. Loan number, how much, for how much amount you have taken a loan, whether it is a car loan, whether it is education loan, whether it is a housing loan, what type of loan you have taken. So which customer has taken a loan? There may be huge number of customers who have taken a many loans. That's what end-to-end relationship. So in the same way, total participation, yes, in any banks do we have, in any branches do we have a loan? So in that case, total participation. This is a ER diagram for a bank database. So entity relationship model in its original form did not support the specialized and generalized abstraction. So extended entity relationship model, EE, that's what is called as a EER model, incorporates set subset relationship, incorporates specialization and generalization in hierarchy. So I'll stop here, and I want you people to go through these things, and I want all of you to take one topic from here. I'll just mail this, and I want each one of you to take this as an assignment, and you have to draw a ER diagram. So one student, first one can take library management, and he has to draw a ER diagram. Second, USN should take a hospital management and draw a ER diagram. The red color one, what I have given, you are not supposed to take. Other, whatever I have given, you have to take this as an assignment, write the assignment, and once write in the sheet of paper. Once you come back to the college after 1 month, you're coming. So then you bring this assignment. There are huge number of list what I have given, and you have to write all this. Select one, but I don't want the duplication. Each student should have only one. So whichever one he's doing, he should take, but discuss among yourself and write ER diagrams for all this. But only take one topic, one ER diagram. Like this, all 53 should take one topic. I've listed here. For that topic, you have to write a ER diagram. So this is I'll stop here, and we'll continue in the next class.